Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. So first of all, my name is Gauri and I will be your host for today. Thank you so much for making the time to join us today on a Wednesday afternoon. I really hope you will benefit from this session. Just to run through, this webinar will last for about an hour, and we have, as you can see here, five different speakers from five different digital platforms all over Singapore to help you transform your business and overcome challenges in 2021. So just a bit of an overview. So because of the pandemic and everything, 2020 has been quite a tough, challenging year for most businesses. And it was also a year of digital transformations because businesses had to think out of the box to weather the pandemic, to keep reaching out to their customers. And because of that, a lot of businesses went through this digital transformation, and this trend is still going on in 2021. In fact, more businesses are adopting different digital platforms for their businesses because they have seen how it made their lives so much easier. So in the process, as a business owner, you probably have already deployed a number of digital tools to help your businesses. So for example, you're probably using Zoom, Google Meets, you probably, if you're a restaurant owner, you have digital menu, scanning using the QR code, you have digital invoices and so on. So the purpose of this webinar today is to introduce you to these five different solutions that you probably didn't know about, or probably you knew about them but didn't know how they can help your businesses. So that's why we're all here today with all these different speakers, and they are each going to spend some time talking about how their solutions can help you overcome the digital challenges of 2021 and how it can help you drive some positive ROI for your business. So throughout the webinar, feel free to leave some questions in the comment box. We will get to them during the Q&A session towards the end. Right, so I think that's all about the overview. So let's get started. We will begin by looking at a few business trends in 2021. So first up, the pandemic has reshaped the future of work, moving everything to the cloud. So because of the pandemic, like I said earlier, business owners have to think out of the box. They have to be creative. A lot of teams started working from home. Everyone was disconnected from each other. So moving to the cloud was the best way to keep in touch with all your team members. Also to access your customer data, customer information, all your even marketing, other day-to-day operations, all your information on the cloud. So like I said earlier, you've probably already started doing it as well. And this trend is predicted to go strong in 2021. Let's look at the second one. So it will be alternative sources of capital to meet unmet funding needs. So during the pandemic, many businesses went into a financial crisis. That's no surprise. So a lot of them also couldn't make it work with the conventional methods of funding, like banking loans, venture capital, all the usual way of raising capital for their businesses just didn't work anymore. So a lot of businesses last year, this year are starting to look at different new options to fund their businesses and other activities. So we'll also be covering this later on. And finally, investing in digital employee experience. So of course, during the pandemic, everyone started working remotely, and this work from anywhere concept also became really popular among employees. And most bosses also realized how much time and money they were actually saving from remote working. And because of that, again, this trend will likely continue into 2021. So they're also employing a lot of digital employee experience tools to help them hire, train, keep, and reward the team members in order to keep everyone engaged during when everyone is working far away from each other. And yeah, so let's look at what we will learn in this webinar. So based on all the trends that I mentioned earlier, some of the takeaways will be how to turn new customers into loyal customers. So how do you use available tools, platforms out there to acquire new customers, turn them into loyal customers, because during a pandemic, you can't really afford to spend too much money on acquisition. And next up, we will talk about simplifying business using corporate cards, automated payables. So this is just to make your corporate payments way more effective, way more efficient. And then followed by how to get revenue-based funding for your business. This is in line with looking for alternative funding. And then managing your payroll and leave through automation. So just making your life easier for your HR team, leaving everything to automation, making things much easier to manage. And finally, how to level up your employee engagement and retention. So everyone in your team being away from each other, how to use available tools out there to keep everyone engaged, keep everyone motivated, make sure they are aware of your company's short-term, long-term goals and the likes. So let's meet our speakers for today. So first up, we have Kelvin Chin from Eber. So Kelvin will be speaking about customer data, customer engagement, customer loyalty, followed by Rajit Shaji, who is the CEO of Volopay, and he will be talking about how to efficiently manage your spendings for business owners. And then followed by Sean, the commercial lead from Jenfi. Sean will be talking about revenue-based funding. And then we have Kenneth from Talenox. So Talenox is one of the friendliest HR software out there, and he will be providing more insights on that. And then finally, we have Wei Chong, the business development manager at Teamber. So Wei Chong will be talking about how employee experience can help your business achieve your goals, and also more about employee experience, employee retention, and stuff like that. So of course, finally, there's me, your host for today. And yeah, so let's get started with Kelvin. So Kelvin here from Eber, and he will be talking about your customer data, customer engagement, customer loyalty, and so on. So Kelvin, you can go ahead and share your screen.
All right, thanks, Gauri. Okay, I believe this is visible, right?
Yes, it is.
Great. Okay, I guess I want to start off by introducing Eber to everyone in the webinar today. So Eber is a member engagement platform where we enable businesses to connect with your customers directly through a loyalty program. I'm pretty sure all of us are customers and consumers today. And what we expect from the brands that we subscribe to is for them to know what our preferences are. And we want to be engaged in a personalized manner and a meaningful way, right? So we've seen a common denominator where businesses want to build a bigger customer database and they want to retain more customers. And they understand really, really well that they have to rewire the older ways of doing things. But the real question is, do they have the right tech and partner to trailblaze digital transformation in the organization? And this is why we built Eber. So all of the features that you see right here, they are available out of the box for you to kickstart and customize your loyalty program. You can consider Eber to be an all-in-one member engagement platform for you to design your program and manage your customer data. Here are some of the customers we've been privileged to work with. So from multinational corporations like DHL and Ninja Van, and some of the major attractions in Singapore like Sentosa, Gardens by the Bay, and some hotel groups, F&B groups, retail chains, and all the way down to your traditional single brick and mortar store. So the deployment is not limited to the size of the business. And in fact, I would say it's the same piece of technology that fits a wide spectrum of businesses. So the key to winning in the new world is to make that experience really, really simple and easy. And by going digital, it means delivering that platform on a mobile device so our customers can access it anywhere and anytime. So right now, I'm just going to walk you through a couple of loyalty program that our customers have launched. The first being DHL in Asia Pacific, where they launch a B2B loyalty program across 16 countries in Asia Pacific. Levitate Lifestyle is a hotel paid membership program in the Philippines, where the members are pay an annual membership fee and they enjoy perks at Holiday Inn and Crowne Plaza Hotel. Yacht 21 is an omni-channel membership program where, from a customer standpoint, what that means is they can shop online, they can shop in-store, they'll be able to receive points. JA is a listed dining group in Hong Kong. So they've leveraged our solution to run a successful gift card program, and they've been doing really, really well in the last year. So here are the 3 pillars to our core solution, and that is reward, connect, and insights. Now, the payoff to reward your customers for their loyalty is a winning play because you get satisfied customers, higher NPS scores, they stick around more, and they recommend it to their friends. So you can run a point of stamp system. You can also run digital or physical card, depending on the demographics of your customers, or perhaps even a multi-tier membership where you have a gold, silver, and platinum membership. And you can sort of gamify it with an auto upgrade and downgrade rules. Now, again, there's multiple ways that you can run your redemption method. It really depending on the operations. It can be as simple as customers redeeming it straight on their mobile device. So the second being connect, where you want to have multiple strategies to sort of personalize the engagement with your customers. And that could mean communicating through the various channels such as text messages or monthly newsletters. Track which customers love your brand with a referral program and make continuous improvement through a feedback form to know what is working and what isn't. So the third being insights. I use a slightly different word here, and that's gaining visibility. So more than just getting a customer profile, you want to organize and label them clearly so we know exactly who are the loyal customers and focus on customers that are less engaged. And with that, I want to end on my last slide here. Eber is meant to be flexible with the different requirements, whether you're running a brick and mortar store or you run an e-commerce store or perhaps even both. You want to make that experience really seamless for your customers. Eber is also customizable, and it is designed to fit your branding and program structure. Last but not least, being a cloud solution, we provide open APIs for your business to integrate to the ERP solution, your property management solution, or the more commonly point of sale system out there. So if any of these sound interesting to you and you want to learn more, stick around and check out the other solutions from Volopay, Jenfi, Talenox, and Teamber. We do have a Q&A session at the end. We'll be happy to take some of your questions. Thank you so much, and back to you, Gauri.
Thank you, Kelvin. So as Kelvin mentioned, if you guys have any questions for him, go ahead and leave it in the chat box, and we will get to them towards the end of the session. So for the next presentation, I'd like to invite Rajit from Volopay to talk about how to efficiently manage your company's spendings. So yeah, go ahead, guys.
Thanks a lot, Gauri. Hey, hello everyone. We are Volopay. We are an all-in-one spend management platform, and we essentially replace a lot of different tools that a business uses to manage their spending. We are essentially a financial control center for modern businesses, and we offer SMEs expense management via corporate cards, invoice management, bank transfers, and credit line all rolled into one single platform with like automated accounting. Mission, we want to help SMEs save time and money by giving them complete control over all their spends. We think the existing processes are inadequate and hampered by inefficiencies and high fees. So some of the top companies and SMEs in Singapore are already using us, which includes companies like Funding Societies, Medline, Latina, Tukitaki, and more. Since our launch in mid-2020, we have onboarded around 200 plus companies who are actively using Volopay and have switched all their business expenses over to us. So expenses are very complex. Consider how a typical SME would spend money. It's like pretty complicated process. All the money is sitting in a bank account, and every business at the end of the day wants to record every dollar spent into the accounting software. But a lot of things happen between these two ends. There are multiple points between employees making expenses and the expenses ultimately sitting into your accounting software. Requests and approvals that are happening via email, Slack, sharing of corporate cards, processing of invoices, manual reimbursements, like tons of stuff. The process here is quite hectic and becomes really hard for businesses and finance teams to track and get visibility on how their company is spending money, especially as you grow and scale. This is a problem that I myself faced in my previous companies, and it's messy for the employees, the finance managers, and even for the owners. Now, the problem with expenses are this, right? That is, there's lots of control, there's minimal visibility and control on what is going on, who is spending what, and it's very difficult to enforce budgets within teams and with the employees. And also, more often, the budgeting exercises are merely a useless yearly or quarterly activities in most companies. So lack of visibility and security is a secondary problem. There is no transparency on the spending patterns inside the businesses when employees use their personal cards and later come up with like big paper receipts for reimbursements. Also in small businesses, employees and managers tend to share a single debit card for incurring expenses, and that's extremely risky considering it's all linked to the main bank account. And security is like an extremely serious concern here. The third thing is this inefficiency. Manual reconciliations and verifications are insanely inefficient. So as we can expect them to be, finance people lose a considerable part of their working hours struggling with this. The fourth and the biggest thing is the revenue leakages. Thanks to all the different silos, there's chance of erroneous entries, fake receipts, God knows what else. And on top of it, banks don't make our life easy by charging extremely high FX rates when you pay abroad via cards or via bank transfers. So these are the big problems we are trying to solve at Volopay. We make it easy for SMEs to get control and visibility over every aspect of their business spend. It could be online payments, subscriptions, travel, marketing, anything you could think of except payroll. Everything else essentially flows through one single platform, all the way from requests and approvals to employees to expenses sitting into Xero, QuickBooks, NetSuite, etc. We do this by combining the use of corporate cards and money transfers into one single seamless product. So Volopay gives control back to spending of the businesses to the teams by ensuring there's approval flows for cards and payments within the system, and also that every payment can be tracked in real time by all the stakeholders with proper audit trails. And the best part is each of these payments are synced into the accounting software with appropriate chart of accounts, classes, vendor details. Thanks to all this super smart AI technology that we have built on top of this. This is 10x better than any bank feed integration out there in the market, and finance teams absolutely love this. We offer enterprise-grade corporate physical cards to each employee, which can be used to make payments in store. We also offer virtual cards, which are seeing huge adoption among SMEs that have to manage multiple subscriptions, who create one card for each subscription and simply delete these cards when they do not need that subscription anymore. It's a great way to share cards with remote teams in these times. Also, you can pay vendors within SG and outside SG at the lowest rates out there via money transfers. Plus, we also offer flexible credit lines on cards with approvals on our cards with approvals in almost like 1 day or probably even lesser, without much documentation and no personal guarantees. We're essentially a layer between your bank and the accounting software. One of the biggest reasons why companies need to use us and why we are a no-brainer for any SME out there is because we offer up to cashbacks of up to 2%. That helps you save more as you spend more, especially with regard to software subscription, international travel. We offer 2% cashback flat. So these are some of the platforms where you get the cashbacks on Volopay. And business can also use our platform to do money transfers to their vendors, even international vendors. And the best part is that we not even charge markups on the FX rates. We do transfers at wholesale rates. So essentially, we are way cheaper than the banks or even the other players out there. So to simply put it, bank charge around like $40 to $60 per transaction, and we charge around $5 to $15. It's a lot of savings for you per transaction. To sum it up, we are not a bank, but we are what a bank should have been. We are here to help you make spending easier and better while saving you money. So these are a couple of our customer testimonials, and happy to take any questions after this, guys. Over to you, Gauri. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajit, for the very concise presentation. So let's move on to Sean to talk to us about Jenfi and revenue-based funding. So Sean, you can go ahead and share your screen.
Great, thanks, Gary. Thanks for having me. Hi. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can
All
see
good?
it.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks for joining, everyone. I'm Sean from Jenfi. So we are a debt financing company. We're here to give you money, essentially, but in a very specific way, we provide growth capital to companies as and when they need it. Right? We want to help your business grow at the very early stage. So it could be in the early years of your company where you're just earning some revenue, but you want to scale up, right? So I'm going to start by addressing, why we decided to go into this business in the first place. Yeah. So two big reasons. The first one is because financing is, essentially difficult to get, right? If you can, there are different sources of financing. You can go to a bank, you can get it from an alternative lender, but in a nutshell, SME financing and startup financing is a difficult process, and it's been declining over the years. It's the loans are getting more difficult to get, and the rates are getting higher and higher, right? In fact, if you go to a bank, it's not even guaranteed that you might even get a loan at this point. So the first big one is financing in general is an underserved market, and we want to add more value to the space. The other reason is because equity financing is also becoming an increasingly difficult process, right? So if you think about getting a loan, the other way is to probably give up equity within your SME or your startup to get additional investors to inject some capital. Yeah, but with the advent of COVID, even though funding still happens, we've seen valuations in companies decrease over time. So which means that they have raised funds at a lesser valuation just because they need the capital, right? So we want to come in and say that, hey, you don't have to give up equity. Here's a different way that you can get additional capital if you need to scale. Yeah. So we want to be there for the founders, right? We understand that every company is built differently. You may not necessarily be in a good light to get funding in the traditional sense, but we understand that from the ground up, it's a tough process, right? So that's at the stage where you want to come in when you're building a company, where you're growing, where you're at an incredibly immense rate, but you do need that additional capital to scale further. So in a very quick summary, we provide really short-term capital. It's flexible repayment. We are the only company that does what we call revenue-based financing. Other companies have done this successfully and added value in many ways in other countries, but in Asia, we are the leader in revenue-based financing, so it's flexible repayments, and I'll explain that later on in the presentation. And it's no collaterals are needed, no guarantees or collaterals are needed. So we want to make it incredibly easy as possible for different companies at the growth stage to get funding. So our solution is capital as a service, right? Where you get capital as you grow along. And how it's different, it really boils down to three main points. One is that the only cost of financing that a company will have to pay if you take our loan is what we call a flat fee. So a flat fee could range anywhere between 6 to 14%, obviously depending on the underwriting process. We do have two different options of repayment available, either variable or fixed, and I'll explain this later on as well. And there's no fixed term or maturity date, right? The term varies depending on your ability to pay. And so we want to make it, like I mentioned, as hassle-free as possible for founders to get involved with our capital. So no credit checks, you will not have to give up equity, and in some cases, we've been able to disperse the funds to our clients within 48 hours. Yeah. So how do we work? Three big things: what we fund, how we underwrite, and how you pay. So growth capital is essentially capital that goes towards growth activities. And this would be any kind of activity that generates revenue and sales for your company. typically, these kind of activities would be digital marketing campaigns. It could be inventory or invoice financing, launching a new product, or if you're a company wanting to digitalize your business and you want to invest in a digital platform, like many of the companies that are here on the panel today. That's where we can come in. So for example, if you want to enlist the services of Talenox or Volopay, we can come in to help you fund those expenses. So to help to ease your cash flow better. So basically, we want to come in to help you grow your revenue and sales. And we've helped a lot of clients grow along the way in this way. Second, how we underwrite. We want to make the process as easy and seamless as possible. Many of the platforms that you use from administrative, accounting, and tracking perspective can be integrated into our system. So it's a proprietary system that we use where once you connect these platforms, we'll be able to underwrite you in the back end. So as much as possible, we want to do away with all the manual process of sending multiple bank statements, sending your expense Excel sheets in some cases, or sending a whole bunch of receipts, right? As long as you can integrate, then the process gets more seamless. Again, and no collateral required. Average turnaround time would be 2 to 4 days. But like I mentioned, in some cases, we have disbursed capital within 48 hours. And how you pay, revenue model is based of a percentage of your revenues. And I'll explain this in greater detail later on, but essentially, every week or every month, depending on how the payment structure is like, a percentage of your revenues would go towards paying the full commitment of the loan. So we found that it's helped a lot of our clients manage their cash flows better, especially during this time when revenues might have been a bit challenged because of other events. And fully transparent pricing from the get-go. You already know the full commitment that you have to pay, and there are no hidden costs, no other added administrative costs, and the like. Yeah. So again, we want to try to make it as simple as possible. So how are we different? So we understand that there are different options out there, right? We're not saying that one option is better than the other. We're saying that there's an option for every company at different stages, right? But essentially where we come in is when you're a company, like I said, growing at a tremendous rate, perhaps you've already budgeted for the year and you need a quick injection of capital that you see can help you scale at a much faster rate, right? So with the different options here, if you are that kind of profile, there are certain setbacks or challenges if you choose the other options. If it's venture capital, it could take a very long time, right? Obviously, the quantums are higher, but the process is tedious. You need to find the right investors, and it takes time. Bank loan, you need personal guarantees. Again, it takes time. It's also not guaranteed that you get the bank loan at the end of the day, and you might lose some of your assets if things don't go well. And then other debt lenders and P2B lenders, we have found that we are quite competitive with the rates that some of these alternative lenders give. And of course, we are the only ones that offer flexible repayment schedule, right? So just to sum it up, again, our cost of financing ranges between 6 to 14% of the loan amount. Time would be about 2 to 4 days. The amount we can loan as low as $10,000, all the way up to $500,000. And in some cases, we have gone above $500,000, but of course, it's on a case-by-case basis. Right, so again, all the ways that we're different. And this basically sums up how variable repayments work, right? So in this this sort of chart, you'll see that we fund the business. You spend it on growth, right? And as your revenue increases or decreases, you pay as a percentage of your revenue. So to give you a very simple example, let's say if we give out a loan of $10,000 and we say the flat fee is 10%, just to use very simple numbers. That means your cost of financing is $1,000. that would mean that your total commitment upfront is $11,000. So immediately you already know, okay, this loan of $10,000 cost me 1,000. The full repayment amount is 11,000. And let's say we look at a term of 6 months on a weekly repayment structure, right? What this means is that and let's say we say 5% of your revenues every week will go towards paying the $11,000, right? So what this means is that in that week, if your revenue increases, you pay a bit more, term gets shortened. But in that week, if your revenue decreases, you pay a bit less, your term gets extended. But your $11,000 at the end of the day remains the same, right? So a few things to note here. One is that your total commitment in your cost is fully transparent. Upfront, that's never going to change. Second, your term is flexible depending on your revenues, right? And third, because it's a factor of your revenues, it helps you to manage your cash flows better as a business. So in that way, you don't have a fixed payment that you have to commit to every single month or week. Now, we understand that this applies better to businesses that have a more consistent cash flow. And we do have the fixed repayment model for B2B businesses where cash flow is based more on deal flow, right? So we do have flexible options available. So some of the companies that we serve, we serve a whole range of different industries, right? So all the way from e-commerce to education, to commodities, to marketing agencies. We partner with several marketing agencies as well. So we can also come in as a sort of like a networking partner. So we have verified marketing agencies that work with us. So if you're looking to boost your SEO, or you're looking to start a digital marketing campaign, we can come in and refer you to one and also help you to fund that expense. Recently we've even funded some esports companies as well. So a whole range of different companies, and we've seen their revenues grow on an average of 8.1% per month due to our capital, right, and how they use it. And just to give you an example, a really good way to think of us is we provide short-term capital in a very quick amount of time, but we can become a long-term partner. So some of these companies that you see here have been with us for over 2 years, in fact, since our inception, right? So some of them are in their 9th or 10th iteration with us as a partner. So what that also means is we've had a lot of clients come to us and say that, hey, we're working on this bank loan where it will be, let's say, $1 million, right? What can you offer? So then we tell them that, why don't, instead of you taking $1 million at one point in time, we can provide you tranches of $100,000 or $200,000 at different stages of your company, so that you only pay for what you need, right? That's why we call it growth capital as a service, where you enlist the capital as and when you need it. And this kind of structure has helped a lot of our clients really well as an alternative option. So we want to be a long-term partner for your growth needs. And like I mentioned before, these are some of the integrations that we have, right? It just makes the underwriting process a lot easier and seamless for you as our client. So again, making the process as easy and hassle-free as possible for any company wanting to go through the process. And these are some of the teams. I mean, this is the team that we have, right? So we have our founders, Jeffrey and Justin. I lead all partnership and sales efforts. We have Keith, who works with me. Dimitri also works with me in other markets. So currently we are based in Singapore, but we also do serve Vietnam and Indonesia at this point of time, right? So any companies that are looking to expand in other markets, we're there for you as well. So with this, I end the presentation. Thank you for your time. Of course, any questions, I'll be happy to answer later on.
Thank you very much, Sean. So yeah, Kenneth is here already. So next up, we will have Kenneth from Talenox to talk to us about the friendliest HR software out there. So yes, Kenneth, you've already shared your screen. Love your enthusiasm. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Gary. Hi, everyone. Hope you all have had a great week and a great afternoon. Right, so my name is Kenneth, and I handle partnerships for Talenox. So today I'll just be going through with you on the introduction to Talenox as well as what Talenox can actually do for your company's internal back-end operations. So one of the goals of Talenox is to actually augment an ecosystem towards endless human capital development. Right, so we started in 2014, and now we have localized for 3 regions: Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, and have over 4,000 active users or active companies actively using us each month to process their payroll as well as manage their leave policies. So the thing is, the way we see it now, the current market is that we realize that a lot of companies out there, they are still using Excel, they're still using Google Sheets and very inefficient legacy HR software to run their business in APAC, right? And they spend a lot of time, maybe say 2 or 3 hours, right, each month just to settle the payroll, right? And the report by Josh Person from Deloitte in 2014 said that current HR software, they are not exactly user-friendly, which is the key concern of the clients, right? Because like I said, you're spending so much time just doing the payroll or just settling some aspects of it that you're not using it for other purposes, or you're not using it to improve your business actually. Right? So of course, we came up with Talenox, which is the solution. And as Gauri put it, thank you, Gauri, we are the friendliest payroll and leave management software out there. So the thing is, why we are better is because we simplify design, right? So the thing about Talenox is, if you had a chance to attend a demo or actually use stuff before, you'll notice that we are actually easy to use and we onboard a lot faster due to our self-serve nature, right? So instead of being difficult, users can straight away create an account on our website and straight away just use it immediately without having to have any prior training by a consultant or in any sort of implementation, right? And the next thing is that our distribution model is disruptive. So instead of going through a consultant and again having an implementation period of say 1 week to a few months just to say implement and train the user for the software, we actually allow the users to straight away just onboard themselves, right? So as mentioned, they just create their account and start using it, right? And of course, the thing about us is we don't have a sales team, so we do get our users through inbound marketing as well as partnerships. And lastly, the thing about us is that we are cheaper, so we have a disruptive pricing. So where other softwares have something like an expensive implementation cost or hidden costs, monthly maintenance fees, and so on and so forth, we only have one simple pricing, which is basically a monthly subscription that is based on per headcount per month, right? So of course, we love our users. If you were to do a quick search of Talenox, you'll realize that we have actually have 5-star ratings in Google, Zero, and the QuickBooks app marketplace. Right. So these are just 2 of the reviews that our customers have left us, right? And there are many, many more if you actually do a quick review. So the thing about Talenox is that we strive to provide the best user experience, and this is in part due to the features that our platform provides, as well as our good customer support that we provide as well. So this is just another one of the 5-star reviews that we actually have on Google. So feel free to check us out. And of course, if you do need any sort of say advice or any questions, you can either leave it in the chat or reach out to us in our support channel. So of course, based on a startup spec done by Stripe Singapore a few years ago, we were listed as the preferred HR SaaS for a lot of tech companies, as well as companies in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. So there are a lot of businesses out there, over 4,000 of them that use Talenox, and these are some of the few that actually use Talenox, and we are proud of to work with alongside with them as well. So some of them you actually recognize, like NinjaVan, SGET, Guzman e-commerce, TradeGecko, as well as Odo. And think about Talenox is that we actually focus a lot on our integrations as well, right? So with our platform, you can actually say goodbye to spreadsheets or even Excel or Google Sheets for that matter, right? Because of our integrated platform, information in your profiles can be synced with your payroll and your leave right? And everything is updated in real time, right? And of course, we strive to be the easiest and the simplest solution to use, such that anyone, not just HR experts, right, or HR trained personnel, can actually use Talenox. And the thing about Talenox is that we are always updated with the latest statutory rulings. So don't worry about not being able to be compliant, because we will cover that. And of course, no training is necessary, right? Because we are self-service payroll and leave software, and we also have a live chat support. So of course, if you do need help, feel free to reach out and we will definitely help you. So just one of the few modules you have. So the profiles module easily allows you to access and manage your entire company details as well as your employee database, right? And of course, you can easily just port over all your information for the employees within a matter of a few minutes, say about 5 minutes. For the payroll module, we can allow you to run payroll and generate pay slips, and we are compliant to these local statutory requirements. So for Singapore, right, you don't have to manually calculate CPF, the ordinary wage or the additional wage, right? Everything is being done, right? And we can also allow you to export multiple bank files to upload to the banking portals and CPF files to upload onto your CPF. So don't have to worry about any of this, because all this will be done. And of course, we have the leave module, where we can allow you to actually manage your entire leave structure, approve leave policies, as well as set it up so that different employees can apply for different types of leave. And most of them are actually preset to be statutory leave entitlements in the system already. So don't need to worry too much about that, right? So the thing about Talenox is that with all these modules that I've mentioned, many users have remarked that they have seen their payroll processing time cut down, right, to a fraction of the time spent. So in fact, one user commented, right, instead of spend a maximum of half an hour, right, 15 minutes just to generate everything, and the other 15 minutes just to check and upload the respective files to the respective forms. So in terms of our ecosystem, we are integrated in a way, a lot of different solutions as well as platforms. So for Singapore, we are integrated to several reputable accounting software such as Xero and QuickBooks Online, as well as some of the corporate banks in Singapore as well, right? And we're also directly integrated with IRAS that allows you to push over all your relevant tax forms over to IRAS within the click of a button. So now the tax season is over, we have had a lot of users that have switched to using Talenox just to submit tax, right? And going forward this year, we will be working with 2 local banks in Singapore to allow for a direct disbursement of salary. So instead of calculating your payroll and then manually transferring them, or having to download the bank form and update them, the direct API integration will allow you to immediately pay your employees from Talenox, right? And this will save you a lot of time. Likewise for CPF as well, we're talking to CPF to allow for a direct integration. So once all these integrations are up and running, we will let the users know, and you can then save time with your back-end HR payroll process. Okay. So the thing about Talenox is that what makes us good is that we have 2 types of plans. One is the free plan that allows smaller size companies to immediately get on board and start using. And this will allow you to calculate your payroll as well as ensure that all your statutory contributions are correct, right? Then for smaller teams, this is free for unlimited headcount for unlimited companies. So you can have as many employees as you want under as many subsidiaries as you want. Of course, when your company grows, or if your company is of a size where you need more features, that's where the suite plan or the head plan comes into the picture, right? Where we charge by headcount, right? And then we cap off at $400 before GST for each entity, right? And this will allow you to not only download your bank files, you download your CPF file, and provide you with the lead module as well as access to the integrations to the accounting software as well, right? So this brings me to the end of my part, right? So back to you, Gary, and thanks so much, everyone, for listening to me. Gary, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kenneth, for the presentation. So I guess we are on to the final presenter of the day. So let's welcome Wei Chong to speak about employee engagement.
All right, thanks, Gawi. Hi, everyone. This is Wei Chong from Teamber, and thanks for joining us today. So without further ado, let me just start off with my presentation. Okay, so we all know that people work for money, but of course, a lot of us will go the extra mile for more recognition, praise, and rewards itself. But like what Gawi have mentioned, because of the pandemic situation, majorities of the companies have implemented working from home or even like staggered work timing. So interaction between the employees and even with the management is getting lesser. And this might be also the new norm moving forward, even though, maybe for months to come when we have really kind of like, move out of this pandemic, but this might be the normal norm as well. So therefore, we actually built Eber. All right, so for Eber, basically we are a employee engagement platform that is built to reward your employees based on their merits. All right, listen to your employees so that you can understand your employee better and build a happier work environment. And of course, lastly, is to recognize your employee for their hard work and accomplishment. So when it comes to rewards, basically, I think a lot of us have seen a lot of rewards program in the market that is for customers, all right? But what about your own staff? How to actually retain your staff and increase their loyalty? So this is where we are coming in for, all right? So with a points system and reward system in place, all right, points can be given between peers, all right, to show appreciation for the assistance that they have given or they receive from their fellow colleagues, or points can be also given from a manager point of view to a staff for a job well done. So in return, the employee can actually use the points to redeem for rewards offered by the company. So it can be like maybe some, maybe it's like a company virtual currency where they can use to redeem some maybe services or product that's offered by your company to the customer as well, right? So instead of just a verbal appreciation, staff can look forward to receive a reward in return. And of course, besides rewards that can be offered from your company directly, you can also choose to offer some e-vouchers as a reward for your employee as well. All right, so there are a huge range of e-vouchers that you can see, like for example, Gongcha vouchers, NTUC vouchers. So basically, we are working with a third-party e-voucher company as well, so that your staff can actually use the points to redeem the vouchers based on their preference. And we are also working hard, all right, closely with some of the merchants, all right, to offer some corporate benefits and discount, such as like, discounts to attractions, F&B and retail outlets. This is to further enhance the privilege for your employees. So this is basically the reward feature that we provide under Teamber. Next will be listen. So I guess this is to provide a tool for the management to gather feedback and understand your employees better. So gain more insights for your employee to understand, like for example, if they're happy at their workplace, or maybe they can give you more feedback of how to improve the current, let's say, operations, right? This is to really help the management to have better insights and will help you to take better actions to build a more productive and a cohesive work environment. And at the same time, of course, by listening to your employees, you can also be sure that everyone is all in line with the company's goal, values, and culture, so that no one is left out. Okay, and of course, lastly, is to recognize the employees. So we do have this kudos system whereby kudos can be given by peers or by management for a work well done, all right? So instead, like just having a pat at the back for a job well done, kudos can be given publicly to show appreciation and recognize the hard work of the employees to make them more motivated as well. Another feature that we have is actually called the badges. So this is another form of recognition for performance, or even for employees that goes the extra mile for the company. Example, like maybe you can have a top salesman badge for the month, or you can even have some badges for certain certification that your employees have achieved in course of the work, right? So this is basically that you can actually award them with a badge to recognize their achievement. All right, so with that, based on the research, I would say that almost 89% of this organization have been saying that ongoing peer feedback has a positive impact to them. And of course, recognition is the #1 motivation for employees to do their best. Right. So let's say if you are interested to get on board with Teamber, it's very straightforward. So basically, it's based on the monthly pricing per employee per month. And if you want to have more information, please visit teamber.com to sign up for a free account. Or if you have any question, I'll be glad to answer it later part of this webinar. Right. Thank you for your time, and back to Gauri.
All right, thank you very much, Wei Chang. So let's just take like a 30-second break while I look through all the questions, and then I will direct them for each speaker, yeah? Okay, I think we can get started. So I think there's a question here for Kelvin. Let's start with Kelvin first. The question is, what information can I get from my customers? And also, how can F&B outlets benefit from having a loyalty program?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the question. I guess I'll answer the first question first. So the first question is, what other information that a business can retrieve from their members? I would say apart from the members' personal information, which traditionally you look at restaurant businesses or retail businesses, there's not really a proven strategy for them to collect those, right? So apart from personal information, you get greater insights to their purchase behavior. So you know exactly what are they purchasing, when was their last visit, what is the average amount that they spend at the businesses. And if you have multiple outlets, you'll be able to gain sort of a visibility as to which outlet are they spending most, right? So I would say that's for the first question. Second question is, sorry, Gauri, can you repeat that question again?
The second question is, how can F&B outlets benefit from a loyalty program? And if you have any examples.
Yep, for sure. So again, I would say if you look at restaurants, not just in Singapore, but a lot of restaurants out there, they don't have any sort of way to track who their loyal customers are, or even who are the returning customers, right? So in our perspective, in Eber's perspective, the simplest way and the most effective way to track this is through a loyalty program, where you encourage customers to sign up. And you also have a systematic system to track how much are they spending, and you can reward the customers for their loyalty.
Okay. Are you done, Kelvin? Sorry.
Yep, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. So the next question is for Volopay. A question here that says whether it means that each employee is going to get a card. Is it like a debit card which they can use to spend? So I think, Rajit, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Gauri. So it's a real card. It's a Visa card that we issue. So it's like a bank's debit card, right? But also the interesting thing is we also give you a credit line. So it can even, you can even call it a charge card or a credit card, whatever you call it, right? But yeah, so every employee gets one, or you can even issue them virtual cards, which they can use online for online payments, or you get a physical card. Yeah, that's what it is.
So the employer will have control over this, is it?
Absolutely. So it's not like a debit card, right? Where it's tied to the bank account value. Here it is like you can set how much money do you want to get on each of these cards. So they can request this on the fly on the mobile app. They can ask like, okay, I want $20. I'm gonna go and meet this this particular client of mine. I need $20. So the manager or the owner or the finance team can approve it instantly, and you get the $20 into your card, and you go and swipe it anywhere. So that's the beauty of it.
All right, thank you. So I also have a follow-up question for you. I'm sure you get this a lot as well. How secure is Volopay to use, since there will be a lot of, I'm guessing, banking and card information involved?
Absolutely, right. So it's, in every way, it's highly regulated. It's not like everybody cannot just issue a card to, to employees and everything. And we also de-risk the entire security part, right? Because you, at any given point of time, your card only has the money that you have allocated to them. So it's like $10 or $20. It's not your entire bank balance, which is tied to your debit card, right? That is where there is high risk, especially in a debit card or something, especially when you're sharing it with your employees. Here you're de-risked, first of all. And the second thing is, it comes with a lot of compliance, and we are our partners use PCI DSS and all the the securities that we have to adhere to. We have adhere to, I would say, yeah, all the regulations and everything. So it's pretty secure in that way. Yeah.
All right, thank you. The next question here is for Sean. So it seems like Jenfi has a pretty flexible way, I would say, to go about funding businesses in the case that a company is not able to make the payments back. In the worst case scenario, what kind of support or advice do you provide to them? How do you make sure that it gets resolved?
Yeah, thanks for the question. It's a great question. So I would say, I think even taking a step back, that's why the underwriting process is incredibly important, right? So we want to invest in businesses that, after looking through the financials and the state of your business, we see that there's potential for growth in the long run. That you have a solid business, even though you might be losing money at this point, or not making a profit. We can see that there's consistent cash flows coming in. You do have a solid pipeline, or you have a really amazing product or service. Those are the businesses we want to underwrite. And in an unfortunate situation where a company can't make its terms, we've tried our best to manage expectations with our clients. And we will probably take it on a case-by-case basis. Of course, the last result would be the unfortunate case where a business falls under bankruptcy, and then it becomes a legal issue, right? But I would say that even before that happens, we want to make sure that we provide capital to the right companies, and that's why the underwriting process is incredibly important.
Okay, thank you very much, Sean. Next question for Kenneth. How fast would it take to migrate data? How difficult it is to transfer data from the Excel sheet to Talenox? And also, how big of a company can you guys support?
Okay, sorry, I'll submit. All right,
it's okay.
Thank you for the question. All right, so in terms of the time taken and the difficulty in migrating, right, we actually have an import function for Excel. Right, so long as you have the account on Talenox and you download the Excel form or the Excel spreadsheet and just fill in all the respective whether the relevant information that's required in upload, it should usually take you no less than about maybe say 10 minutes, right? Maybe 5 minutes to copy and paste everything, and the other 5 just to make sure that everything is kind of correct. But of course, I'm more of a cautious person, so usually when I work with partners to help onboard the information, I take about half an hour just to make sure that all the banking details are actually correct, right? So in terms, that's for importing of data, right? And that's for transferring of migration of the employee data. Now, in terms of, Gauri, was it how fast can support, how many we can support, is it?
Yeah, how big, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So funnily enough, Talenox rate the headcount size on Talenox, right, for the users, they range from 1 headcount for the one-man team all the way up to 5,000 employees in a single company. So it really depends. And of course, our infrastructure allows you to actually run the pay run for 5,000 employees in a single payroll. So it's actually pretty fast scale. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think the final question here will be for Wei Chong. So for the employee engagement platform, is it only for employer to reward the employees, or can employees also engage with each other?
Okay, so yeah, so I think yes, I mean the feature of rewarding is basically to use a point system for employer to, or even management to give points to their employees based on certain task completed or certain milestone that they have achieved. But at the same time, yes, as I shared earlier on in my presentation, peers to peers, meaning to say that, my colleague can also give me points, all right, based on maybe something that I've helped them with or some task that I have assisted them with. All right, so yes, the answer is yes. Of course, the points can be given in terms of like between the peer to peers, but of course the rewards, depending on what kind of rewards that the company would like to give them. Like for example, maybe some of them will think like having a lunch with a CEO is a reward, right? They can actually do that, right? But end of the day is, yeah, so the answer for that is yes, peers can actually kind of give points for them to redeem rewards offered by the company. And of course, under our recognition feature, we have this something like a Facebook page where you can actually post things to communicate with your peer, your colleagues itself, like maybe a shout out to someone that have helped you as well. Yeah, so the answer is yes to both of that.
So I think there's another question that just came in. Is the app available in different languages? Because many companies now employ foreign workers as well who can't speak English.
I would say that currently at this point of time, it is only applicable in English in terms of the menu bar that you, if you were to see our demo or you go to our website, it will be currently in English, but it doesn't stop, the staff to communicate on, in terms of the shout out, it doesn't stop them from keying in other languages. Of course, we are starting off with English first, but let's say if there's requests like maybe for Mandarin, if we see a lot of users are requesting for that, this is what we can always improve our product feature, and that's the beautiful part of a SaaS-based kind of system, that we can always improve the feature accordingly based on the demand of our user. So I would say the answer is yes and no. Yes, no for the current moment, but yes, in the future, we can actually explore to improve the system.
So will all the options be available for staff, or only selected one and then they would have to unlock along the way?
You mean for the
functions like the rewards and so on?
For the functions like the reward? No, if you talk about okay, so basically for a staff employee using Teamber, what they can do is that, there are three main features, right? Reward, so basically is after the points they have actually gathered from either from their peers or from their management, right? They can actually see a list of reward that's offered by their company internally, or if not, like the rewards more that I mentioned, we can actually link up this third-party e-voucher kind of platform whereby they can actually redeem all different kinds of vouchers. So there's no need for them to unlock this feature as long as you provide the rewards for them to redeem.